What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part, I want to say, 34 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Fay Enchantress Old World Classic campaign. So as we saw last time, the war against the Pirates of Sartosa has begun. It's time to reclaim those of the southern realms that they have taken, and we have already taken about 5 of their poorly defended, newly conquered settlements, as obviously they didn't have much of a garrison as yet. We have also made landfall on Albion and have sighted LAKOR and Crone Hellebron, both of which seem to be in an eternal deadlock against the Order-Tide little alliance that always happens up here. Obviously, we've had Wulfric the Wanderer declare war on us and are moving armies towards the north, as Hagen de Gissoho and Cassillon de Caravans will both be heading out to take their errantry to the shores of Norska. Otherwise, we are looking pretty good to end the turn, other than a couple things. I wanted to get the smithy or the armory or the foundry, whatever this thing is, armory, up and running here. And to do that, we need money. And in order to get that money, what we're going to do is this. We did last episode find the Order of the Winter's Sun, who apparently have survived this long, so we'll defensive alliance them up, trade military alliance, access rather, and we'll take their money. Actually, we'll take 3,000 of their money, because that's what we need to build our smithy. Like so. This will give us a vision of what's going on down here, and I presume it'll also show us Yvresse, which actually is also still alive. I am impressed. I am rather impressed. Yvresse, how alive are you, by the way? Just out of curiosity. You have 9 settlements, not too bad. You're actually allied with the Defenders of the Great Plan. I've definitely seen the two fight each other before, so I'm pleased to see this. Defensive alliance and military access, we don't need to take your money. You need it more than we do, and you are at war with the Bloody Hands, so we want to help all of you out. There we go. All right, I like that there's some Order-Tide presence in the Badlands that isn't getting overrun horrifically. Defenders of the Great Plan, you are... Oh, Nakai's alive. Oh, that's lovely to see. We can take your money, though, because you don't really need it. You don't really do anything with it. The Defenders, I mean. The Nakai needs it, but I don't think his little vassal faction does, so I'll take your cash, buddy. It's just a waste on you. Whereas Nakai does not want a defensive alliance with us, unfortunately. Bit of a shame, that. But the fact that he's survived almost 70 turns now is, frankly, quite impressive. So, good job, Nakai. Let us build some outposts here. Now, the capital is in Gorgazan, which is a red territory, and that's unfortunate. Oh, they haven't actually allied with anybody, but ooh, they have access to almost all of their units. That's what I like to see. I mean, this is all red territory to us. And then we will do the same thing here at... Where's your capital? Well, it's not All-a-Day Retreat, but All-Day Retreat is probably the best defended of the places. Grand Timingo is your capital, but it is not nearly as well defended. I'm gonna say we'll help you defend All-a-Day Retreat by building a nice outpost there. Go there. We already have access to a lot of Kislevite units, so this isn't as big of a deal, mind you. Alright, and the 2 extra trade agreements is good. We're still not earning the most insane amount of trade, but, you know, still pretty solid. Anyway, now we have enough cash to upgrade EU Armory. I actually should have done that last turn, but I forgot, or at the very least ran out of money, and then that's life. And we'll use the armory here plus the Arimo hideout to recruit a few things rather than ferry them over, because it's just going to be quicker. That's the main reason. Anyway, I do believe with that we're ready to end the turn. The Pirates of the Darkness Daughters will attack Rapunzel's army, who is fine in her current state, and I believe there was another potential attack. We purposely didn't take Stiani, because we want to draw this army in so that Bowmen Beastslayer fights both of them at the same time. Could be a little bit iffy, mind you. Alright, now I wanted to get him a couple of... Do we have a guy who can deliver these? Maximilian Le Chasseur, perhaps? I think I was going to use you to deliver them, right? Virtue of Audacity. There was another one that I want... Okay, you know what? Let's do 2. Let's get another Lord here temporarily. Another level 9. Doesn't really matter. You go here. Then we'll use Maximilian Le Chasseur and grab 3 of these guys.
Protector of the realm.
Like so. And then we will deliver them to Bowmen Beastslayer.
Very well, if you insist.
And did I give you the... I did give you the... Good. Alright, these guys will help with that, well, with the beast slang, go figure. And hopefully be far enough away from the rest of the army to sort of not trigger that whole outlaw thing. I think I like it better than the crossbows. Granted, the crossbows do fit in with that medieval aesthetic very nicely, but obviously, again, they're outlawed in Bretonnia, so yeah. At least the aspirant hoods are hidden stalking somewhere out of the distance. Somebody's helping you with arrows for all the nobility. No, it could be wood elves or somebody else. Best not pay too much attention to it. They're just shepherds. Okay, they're just guarding the sheep flocks or whatever. That's how it's done. Anyway, what else do we have? Nothing? Skip outpost. Did I forget somebody outpost? Ron's gonna keep bothering me with this. Oh, there's the oh, I forgot to build one at Sigmarsheim, didn't I? Yeah, let's build one in Martel, I guess. We did give them a territory after all. And then Kuhan is the only one left without an outpost that we didn't build out. No, there's also the South Confederacy, but I don't know whether they'll survive. It depends on how Aranessa reacts to us. In theory, anti-player bias should move them towards the... us, but we'll see. I'm gonna save the money then. Castle Kuhan, you're allied with the Continental Exarchate. Yeah, good for you. Good for you indeed. There was also something I wanted to trade. Oh, well, actually, there were several settlements that I wanted to trade, but while this is still happening with the undead, maybe we'll wait to trade those settlements. So we'll forgo it for now. I also wanted to trade Passive Stone for Stedham and several of these territories. Okay, I'll try to remember to do it between the episodes, but maybe only after these guys are gone, because I'll just immediately attack them and take them. I want to return these two to the Wissenlanders. And then I want to take either Word of Rain for ourselves, just because of the Shrine of Cain there, or possibly give it back to these guys just for lore reasons, even though the 15% income from post-battle loot would be nice to us, I do admit. And the recruit rank +1 for all units faction-wide is quite nice as well. Yeah. And hey, humans do worship Cain, or at least some humans worship Cain. So, I mean, would it be that surprising to have some kind of Cainite shrine somewhere in the Empire for some of our exiles and our bandits or brigands, whatever, to flock to? I don't know, maybe. Ranald and Cain. Anyway, outpost available, damage building, and end the turn. Let's see about those wait, 3 settlements besieged. What was the third? Oh no, did I forget something? Damn it. Circle of the Sun, Myrmidia's Coast. I don't remember where that is. Wait. Just Nagaroth, please wait. Can't move the map faster. Circle of the Sun, Myrmidia's Coast. Oh, this. I should have just attacked. Huh, that's a bit of a waste of a turn. Oh well, not a big deal. Hopefully not a big deal. Orion's coming in to help, I guess. Probably should have leveled you as well. I don't remember what's actually in here, but I don't imagine that it's all that much or all that concerning. Anyway, yeah, we're not joining this as yet to Lethanar, but we will probably soon. I also do imagine that Clan Treacheric, the ones that are currently at war with the Order of the Winter Sun, will probably attack us. Okay, this was planned, yes, and indeed, Harold Wolsey gets drawn in. A rank 27. Oh, AI, you and your cheats. Some random lord has the same level as our second highest best performing lord, and of course, full of items too, despite I'm sure these guys not having 100% item drop chance, but nonetheless, hopefully his level or his experience will serve as the fuel to ours. Also, once again, Bowmen does look pretty good on the horse there. Let's see how he uses that mace on horse rather than on foot. Go.
Today, the lance will end what they're fully began!
Alrighty, here we go. I wanted to try Bowmen on a horse rather than on foot, though I do like the idea of seeing him fight together with the Beast Slayers of Beston, matching the sort of red and yellow that they've got. Though obviously he has his big old mace, and then these guys have their pole arms. But anyway, we'll try him out on a horse this time around, see how he does. Speaking of horse, our units of the Grail Knights are going to charge on, and these are the Lance variant, i.e. Grail Knights rather than Grail Guardians, and we're going to move them towards the enemy artillery while our basic units of piles of pole arms and such move in. And in this particular battle, I think we won't rely too much on the charges of the Grail Knights. We'll do a little bit of charge work, but then maybe intersperse them through our battle lines in order to make sure that they can sort of, not just they carry the day, if that makes sense. Anyway, Bowmen has closed the distance, and yeah, he's whacking away at jerks, sending zombies flying with each whack of his mace, and looking pretty good while he does it. The red and yellow color scheme is certainly growing on me. Not as good as black and white, mind you, it's just too classic, but it's pretty good, especially with certain lighting like this. It actually works quite nicely for him. Anyway, the Grail Knights have chosen their sort of field of battle and have decided to sort of stick around and fight the enemy, while our peasantry are ready to move on in and help out. We do also have the Brigand elements of this particular army, currently 3 units of Brigand crossbows, again, to probably be replaced by some aspirant hoods, but they are going to do their best to hit the enemy from the flanks using their vanguard deployment and destroy the zombie-powered gunnery mob with handguns. Unfortunately, even with all 3 of them firing at them, the zombie-powered gunnery mobs are able to get like 75% HP damage on that faceless, and are tanking many a armor-piercing arrow. Why? Because, well, their damage isn't all that high, and the armor-piercing isn't all that useful against the zombie-powered gunnery mobs, who also have a ton of units, as well as the fact that they're zombies, so they are missile-resistant to 25%. Pretty good. Taking them a while. But they'll go down eventually. Speaking of zombies, we got a little bit of polearm on polearm action as the polearm zombie-powered deckhand mobs face off against men-at-arms with polearms. In theory, our living units should be the stronger. And stat-wise, that seems to be the case as well. So they will carry the day eventually, but will obviously take some time. This is almost a pretty darn good shot with the polearm versus polearm. I like it a lot. I could watch this all day, but alas, I won't be able to, because there's other elements of the battle, and Bowmen moves into the center of the fray. Ooh, I see the execution symbol. That's not good. Not because I think he'll get executed, but because I think that it might cause a desync. We are going to heal him up and allow him to back away by popping off an Awakening of the Wood to slow the enemies down as they chase him. He should be fine. We do have a lore of life in this army after all, so we shouldn't be concerned. We could also, if we really wanted to, move one of the Grail Knights in to help him out, but I just don't think it's needed. Speaking of the Grail Knights, oh, they both have, do all 3 of them have this similar flag or banner? I see 2. Did the 3rd one go down somewhere? Or am I missing it? No, there's one right there. It's a different one. A black and white one, ironically, go figure. Well, either way, these guys are in the fight. They're going to take a little bit of damage, obviously, because these are the shock cavalry variant, but they're still Grail Knights. They're going to be super tanky, even if we don't rely on them charging around. Bounce power has shifted to about... Actually, it remains about 50% in our favor. Or 50%, 50-50, especially as the enemy reinforcements have now arrived and will probably begin gunning down some of our units. Bowmen's forced to back off as he has reached his healing cap and has fought in the center of the enemy formation for quite the while. He did manage to do 5.5k damage, but that was him by himself, essentially, surrounded by a Rotting Promethean unit of the non-gunnery mobs, plus the zombie-powered deckhand mobs with polearms, and the cavalry bane that they apply, as well as the armor-piercing damage, plus a vampire fleet captain in the center of all this. Ooh, nice Starcaster arrow coming in from our Faceless, who is now firing into the enemy's flanks, doing a little bit of work. 59 kills, actually not so bad, buddy. These guys are starting to grow on me a little bit. Maybe I can start to ignore or maybe not, being as susceptible to my own dislike of the range heroes. Ooh, nice effect from whatever that was. Oh, it was the spawning of the Green Knight. Yes, because we don't have him summoned, we now have him available to help out as needed, and he will go after the Vampire Fleet Admiral, as Bowmen is busy, going in for a rematch against that Vampire Fleet Captain. A bit of a role reversal here, as before it was Bowmen surrounded by the polearms of the zombie pirate deckhand mobs, but now it's the polearms of his own anti-large units, or anti-large men-at-arms, surrounding the Vampire Fleet Captain, while the two continue to duke it out. Oh, I like that he has designs on his surcoat there. That's quite nice. It's not just nothing. Looking pretty good, buddy. Looking pretty good. Though not for too much longer, as with that, the fall of the Vampire Fleet Captain killed by Bowmen and the Vampire Fleet Admiral killed off by the Green Knight carries the day for us. There's a few units left, but now the Grail Knights are given free rein to charge once more and bring down what remains until the last zombies crumble away and until the battle is ours. A heroic victory at that. Very nice. I gotta remember that we can summon the Green Knight when he's not in an army. Alrighty, there we go. Got another Dragonbane gem, which we can hopefully turn into something better. But in the meantime, had ourselves a nice fight. Bowmen Beastslayer actually reached his healing cap, which was certainly dangerous for him. Perhaps unsurprisingly, because he doesn't have any ward save at all, as we were relying on the Seed of Rebirth. But maybe we want to replace it instead of the healing cap with a little bit of ward save, especially since he's using Bowmen's shield, which admittedly has some uses to it. It isn't that good of an item, and certainly the additional ward save would have been helpful. But that's, I think, only if we keep him on horse, where he's more vulnerable. If we put him on foot, he'll be just fine in his current state. Anyway, a very nice fight with lots of our units of, let's see. Polearms doing good work. Funnily enough, one of the unnamed polearms actually did the best with 23k damage, which was pretty darn solid. And while the crossbows don't really matter since they're being replaced in this army, 86k on Weekend at Baldwin's. But the reason for that is that the Grail Knights and the Grain Train here, both of these guys were sort of locked in, not riding around. Again, not taking too much advantage of their obnoxious charges, and sort of bolstering the line of the peasantry here, while we used Weekend at Baldwin's to, once the reinforcements arrived, charge through their lines of guns to, not have them gun anybody down, or not gun too many down. So yeah, it was a nice fight. A heroic victory, and I think definitely worth it to have drawn the enemy out. Especially since we didn't actually lose the turn, because not only did we draw out the army, but also got to capture the settlement. Carl, what you want, bud? Who wants to join against the war? Oh, right. I almost forgot about the man-eaters. Gotta remember to pick up the last of the units from Grummus camp here before they're gone for good. Hunts Marshal, you probably want a military alliance. I don't really see the need for this right now. Maybe we'll do it, maybe we won't. Also quite curious to see if these guys manage to attack Bellicor, Bellicor attacks them, or backs off, or what's going to happen there. Thorgrim, also, everybody wants a military alliance today. Oh, and it looks like he's finally captured that Tzeentch location. Good for him. Now he can go and fight the Skaven, and we, more importantly, don't have to worry about the Tzeentchans doing annoying Tzeentchy things. At least not these Tzeentchans. Actually, imagine that the Changeling is still around on the map somewhere, but at the same time, at the very least, we won't have settlements being swapped out. Word of the Winter Sun, military alliance. Now, we just did a regular alliance, you're fine.
Dark are these times.
Peace treaty. No? Attack us, please. Thank you. That's everything we wanted. We got 2 Rampager standards out of this. Got to give these to... Well, that's actually a question. We could vastly increase the charge of the Knights Errant over the Knights of the Realm, as the Knights Errant are already weaker than the Knights of the Realm, and this is would be kind of helpful in, making them stronger. Might not be that bad of an idea. Although, admittedly... might not be a bad of an idea. I think we'll do that. We got a big boy here, a rotting leviathan, some sirens. We've got 3 depth guard with twin axes, and the Morgul Haunter is going to be annoying because he's going to be stalking. Huh. Wait a moment. You have stalk, but you don't have unspottable? Ah, because regular Morgul's have unspottable. Go figure. I guess it's one of those things. It's similar to the way that Bowmen was stuck in the fight there and taking a lot of damage to a unit of polearm depth guard, or polearm depth guard. No, they would have torn him to shreds, but polearm deckhand mobs because they have that cavalry bane. Weirdly, all of our Grail Knights and Pegasus Knights can get the immunity to contact effects upgrade in SFO, but the Dukes, the ones that should really probably have it out of their tree or something, none of them seem to have immunity to contact effects. And it's once again this weird element of design where the type of hero or the type of unit that the hero or lord buffs or is doesn't get the same kind of buffs as that same unit, overall oftentimes giving them better abilities and effects than the lord itself has, which I've always found very weird, but the game is just kind of like that. What can you do? Anyway, not important. What is important is this looks like another great fight against the Vampire Coast. Away we go.
Watches over the brave and the righteous. Chevaliers, charge!
Alright, charging is what good chevaliers do. Anyway, here we go. Looks like a fair amount of enemies under the Darkness Daughters arrayed against us. We may have to be at least somewhat careful, but at the very least, this will mean that everybody gets to play as in all of our units. We're going to start the day with Rapunzel leading her peregrines, her questing knights, into the fore. Charging into a unit of enemies with the old hand cannons, while Rapunzel peels away, activating her halo of maidenly wrath to keep the zombies back while she faces down the monstrosity of the rotting leviathan. Her knights, in the meantime, will charge at the enemy artillery. At the very least, the questing knights, as well as the knights of the realm, which went in together, Slaneshi giggle. In the meantime, the knights errant actually moved all the way around and then up the hill to make use of the elevation and charge down said hill and through whatever enemies they can, though good use of the AI, or the AI makes a good use of the sirens to block them off a little bit. In the meantime as well, our peasants have closed the distance, some of them taking severe damage from the bombs of those enemy zombie pirate deckhand mobs with, well, bombs. And frankly, this unit will break pretty much immediately from a single volley, taking about 60% of their HP in damage. But I mean, a full unit of grenadiers on a medieval battlefield is probably not going to end well for the poorly armored men-at-arms. In the meantime, the much more dangerous unit, even more dangerous than the bombs, is of course the enemy and depth guard. Still one of my favorite looking units in the game, and just a really fun unit. Again, obviously I'm very biased towards the vampire counts, but these guys just look so fantastic. And unlike vanilla, they're not quite as fragile, still somewhat surprisingly fragile, but as long as they're in melee and making use of the hunger, they can stick around for much longer. Plus, at least they have vampiric speed here and can run almost as fast as cavalry. Or as fast as heavy cavalry, at least. Anyway, looks like we have got the bounce power in our favor now at about 65-70%. And we bring down that most critical unit, probably my favorite hero unit in the game, the Morgul Haunter. Sorry, little fella, don't you worry. Build plenty of you next time I play a vampire-related faction. And it looks like with that, the enemy begins to melt away. I do believe Rapunzel has brought down the rotting Leviathan and then moved to defeat the enemy vampire fleet admiral. Like so. And with the Vampire Fleet Admiral's fall, the battle is pretty much ours. Henri Le Massif is helping, I'm sure, but it looks like that went pretty well. Again, our peasant units suffer massive casualties to lose about 60% of their HP, but frankly, they do in all of our armies, and we send them in regardless. It would be boring if we built nothing but knights. Though we very well could if we wanted to. Knights Errant and Knights of the Realm aren't all that expensive after all. Anyway, a lovely little fight, and with that, I do believe the only settlement of the Darkness Daughters falls. Alright, there we go. A heroic victory, but a rather tough one, certainly. One of the Depth Guard absolutely tearing, well, actually several of the units of Depth Guard absolutely tearing through those poor units of peasants, but that should hardly be of any surprise. At the same time, our knights did very well, the Peregrines in particular, getting 37k damage. Raponce dishing out a solid 12k while keeping the Rotting Leviathan locked in place, and damaging it probably more severely than the Luminarchs did with their 1,400 and their 500 damage. Luminarchs are still kind of terrible, not by virtue of their concept being bad or anything like that. They're conceptually pretty fun. Their problem is that they don't fire like 80% of the time, because every little change in terrain or slight movement from the enemy will just prevent them from doing so, and you really have to just babysit them non-stop to get them to fire off even a single shot. But again, I feel like they match the concept of this particular army, so we're using them, not because I don't think we can use something a little bit better. And in an army with a lot of knights, you're usually too busy microing the knights to properly micro the Luminarchs to get them to fire shots. But at the same time, if we get some nice flat battlefields, like if we go to the Badlands, for example, I fully expect we will, they'll have a little bit of a better time of it. Anyway, Knights of the Realm get 20k on the best performing one and 19k on the best performing Knights of the Errant. As for the peasants, I think we can look no further than Maxime Paravent here, who still has retained this name and has 16k damage. I guess this unit just permanently has this name. I still find it very funny. Occupy. And with that, the Darkness Daughters should be destroyed. I wonder if the orcs will sally out of the third location that we were besieging. The location that I had forgotten about. By the looks of it, no. I.e. yeah, we've gone past them. Alright, ally begins up. Game. Busy. Thank you. What do we have here? Baldemir. Oh, right. The Ogre Army. I feel like with the Ogre Man-Eaters, I want to put Free Company Militia. Though, admittedly, wait, what do we have in terms of melee line? Oh, other than the Ogres, we basically have no melee line. Huh. On the one hand, the Men-at-Arms with polearms would be decently useful. On the other hand, the problem with them here is that this is the garbage, as in the non-SFO stats. They should have about 1500 HP or something along those lines instead of what they have here. And therefore, I think I'm actually going to go with the Free Company Militia. Plus, I love Free Company Militia, so Missile Warriors. Go with that for this one, I guess. We'll leave the Man-Eaters to man the melee line. Hedge Wizard for you. Dragon Helm, no Dragon Helm. No Dragon Helm for you. Smuggler, always nice. A second Smuggler, always nice. A Royal Pegasus for Tancred de Quenel, no. You are staying on horse, because that's what the Companions Army is all about. Cuirass of Fortune, I don't know whether we're keeping those or changing them up. Ally occupies settlement. Karaz at long last, destroying a broken wheel. Clan Na destroyed as well. And the Doom Legion, oh wow, the Doom Legion destroyed, meaning that I do believe these orcs are no longer fighting anybody. Meaning they will either declare war upon the Kislevites. Actually, speaking of the Kislevites, I'm sorely tempted to tell Serena Katrin to attack Clan Mulder. They're currently just irritating the Urson Revivalist, and frankly, Boris is holding off the tide of chaos out of Norska, and I feel like perhaps he needs a little bit of help. Alright, I will consider this. Yeah, Darkness Daughters destroyed over the Winter's Sun, enemy kill in battle, yada 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 yada. Confident Defender, Seafarer, Brahmin Security, Sodestra Gun, and Armor for all non-knights, and now Squire Training. Caravan completed, good. And Giant Slayers, oh my. Well, that's just lovely. I do like that. And, oh, there's an island for one of the ships. All right, you go grab this. You can keep traveling, though. And power of, I gotta go with rage. Will help with any island auto-resolves as needed, if needed. In fact, you don't suffer attrition for this turn then, because you've moved to pick up the islands. Go right here at the coast of Bordelot, wherein you will be safe-ish. Just to double check there's no islands on the way, and Brocard-Dagneau, you are the last of the companions that still need to join the army, and you are going out here. Alright, actually, speaking of the companions, I'm gonna say, because I'm not gonna remember your names anyway, because we have too many heroes. Come on. Come on. Yeah, you nearly there, bud? Yeah, alright, there you go. Alrighty, you, Paladin. You will be a Wallace William, like so. And you will be, what do we have here? Alright, you can be Marcus Kruber, I guess. I was gonna name Marcus Kruber one of the Empire captains in one of the caravan armies. The issue there was that I wanted it to be a caravan army that had elven, dwarven, and human units, and I couldn't quite get that. As in, the ones that have elves don't have dwarfs, and the ones that have dwarfs don't have elves, which I get, but... you know. Anyway, Jordan, you are technically our best caravan, right? You have the... Wait, who has the letter of something? The warrant of trade, that's you. Esteban, and Esteban likes to go through Empire lands. Alright, so Esteban, then I guess we'll send you through Empire lands. Towards Kislev again, I guess? We could also pick up another Dwarfen unit if we really wanted to. I really wanted either another Winged Lancer and another Streltsy, possibly. Or another Streltsy, rather. Let's see. We go directly to Kislev. I don't like how it would cross the... Actually, that's kind of iffy. All these areas are kind of iffy. You're returning. You are the Wood Elf Caravan. You wouldn't be able to pick up new units. And frankly, I'm not sure that we would want to anyway. But I guess we could just send you to one of the Wood Elf locations. Oh, wow. South Bank is... Huh, I guess it's been a while since we visited it. We just quickly go to South Bank since it's an Imperial territory. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. Go to South Bank, get the 6.3k for a mere 5-turn journey, since it's been so long since we bothered to go to it. And then we'll see what other units we can delete and replace. Dispatch, buddy. Am I forgetting anything? I don't think so. Dispatch. Alrighty, back to what I was doing before. So I named you two, right? Now, there were a few Tech Thief name suggestions, but at the same time, I am going to say we'll get some random we'll get some random names that were previously for Tech Thieves to just, you know, heroes, because at this point I don't think we'll ever need any more Tech Thieves, because our research rate has, if not quite surpassed, has nearly surpassed the max base research cost, which means all of our things will take one turn, and we technically no longer need Tech Thieves. So yeah, you can be, I don't know, made in Bretonnia, like it doesn't fit. Damn you, character limit, or at the very least for the upper line there. Like so. And we'll do one more. Who has... Okay, you're Maid Marianne, so you're already named. Renee Dagneau, you are a lord. You, Franciscus, you have... Yeah, how about you? You can be... Lady of the... Ledger. Like so. Alrighty. And, you know what, while we're naming, let's just do a couple more while we're here. I think I forgot to do any last episode because, you know, busy, so... let's do a few more. You can be Grain Guardians. I like so. Hey, we gotta guard our farms. It's very important work. We did the Questing Knights. What kind of knights have we not named a lot of? We have a ton of Knights of the Realm names by virtue of... I believe Alberic's army. Yeah, it's got like 5 knights named. I think we named... Wait. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Where's that army with the flyers, with the Pegasus Knights? Oh, there's also these guys. We have the Campagrottos Condottieri. You know what, you can just be the peasant hunters. Like so. And did I name any of the other knights in Rapunzel's army now that I think about it? We have the Peregrines, very cross knights, knights of the realm. Let's name one of the knights errant as well, assuming we're keeping them in this army. Assuming, again. You can be Le Nez Danton. Like so. Alrighty, how about... where are we keeping some crossbow troops? You are definitely keeping some crossbow troops with the Brigand crossbows and the Akshina ambushers. Just crossbow spam in your face, ambush-tastic. That was a weird description, but that's the way it is. You can be... arrow troppers rather than arrow troopers. I don't know if this was a misspelling or not, but, well, it's just gonna be... that's the way it's gonna be, so... alive. Just a couple more, guys. Couple more. Again, this is for 2 episodes worth. Since I forgot last time. Did I name anybody in this army? I did not. Let's name Hugh. Hoof-hearted. Like so. And how about one more? I have not named a single fire arrow unit in this entire campaign because admittedly we're not using a lot of them because you're just better off using the longbows except for very specific targets. So you are going to be the fried French. Like so. Alright. That's good enough. Good enough. Let's start from the top once again then. The Fay Enchantress. That's you. To where do we proceed? Castle Tempelhof is the best place to go, though you can actually reach Van Heldenschloss and... wait. Renee, where can you reach? You cannot reach Tempelhof from here, but you can go past to help out these guys. Oh, the border gore is going to be horrific in these territories, but it is what it is. In this stance, you still can't reach anything, eh? You could reinforce at Tempelhof. Oh! I've actually got some solid stuff. Look at that. Blood Knights? Oh, yes. I wonder if they'd sally out. I'm almost tempted to allow the siege to actually happen just because I want to see Blood Knights versus Grail Guardians. Go here. I wasn't going to do this. But with the knowledge that there are Blood Knights, and a million billion Graveguard and stuff, let's give them a chance to sally out. I'm wary that they might not, but who knows. With other armies nearby, they might move in to help raise some more dead something. I'm willing to bet also that you guys can reach these territories, but we cannot reach them, unfortunately, with Renee. But I guess you're just gonna have to keep moving. So go out here and then just go to the next place you can, and then we'll help them fix up the border door a little later. You, Eleanor, you were supposed to be oh, you're rank 20, good for you. You're supposed to be following, but now you're kind of out of range. Stay here, I guess. No choice. Or at the very least, ooh, yes, upgrade this. At the very least, I don't think I want to risk you dying for no reason. Most of these territories are going back to the Empire, but we still need to help them, you know, knock out all of these undead before we fix the border guard. Anyway, Fay Enchantress, sit there. Let's hope that they sally. What is LAKOR doing? He backed off like a pathetic little coward. Oh, I really wanted... I wanted Tancred de Quenelle and his companions to defeat LAKOR. I might even be willing to wait for him to revive, because LAKOR has such a good defeat trait. But obviously the companions won't reach him in time. So I think you're just gonna go here, you're gonna grab the Sea Corps, and then you're gonna land at Lost Ericsson's Landing then. Mariam, you're only supposed to reinforce, so it doesn't really matter what you do. You two are supposed to technically be traded to Bertrand the Brigand, who I guess is going to be the one attacking LAKOR. Sorry, LAKOR. And I guess we can use Areola to reinforce. It's not needed per se, but you do need to leech XP, and thusly. Sorry, LAKOR.
I will not perform another coronation. There is no ever chosen. Only me.
Yeah, you sure about that, bud? You are already at war with Harganeth. Do we want to join this war rather than draw Harganeth into it immediately? Frankly, it doesn't really matter very much. Where is Crone Hellebron? Is she alive? Huh. She may have lost her army. Let's just attack them both. I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
Do not
Declare
try
war.
to
Don't
tempt
call allies to
death
help. We'll
with
be
me.
fine.
I will
Plus, our allies up here are
not
already at
submit.
war with them, so it makes no difference. Alrighty, then. Bertrand, do we need to level anybody up here? We got 2 skill points? Yeah, we do. I'll take it. You can have full-bodied, vigorous, and heading to woody, and damsel of life. You have 3 points. Gonna get a 2nd point in regrowth. We do spam Earthblood for healing in most armies, but in this one it isn't as necessary. But neither is Onslaught because this is mostly a range damage dealing army. We could get Power Sap and try to get into Potent as well, though. You know what, I'm still gonna grab the point in Earthblood and then go into Power Sap. Alright, good enough. What about you, sir? Make Merry gives us a little bit of extra leadership, just fine, but it's nothing crazy. I guess we could try to move towards Flurry of Blows and Sweep the Legs to make you sort of more fighty yourself. None of this is particularly critical. Alright, fine, fair enough. This gives you weapon strength. Outlaw's Lullaby gives you stats. There we go. Makes you nice and fighty. Alright. Bertrand. I'll go here, and hopefully Bellicor will revive by the time we get to the Drifting Castle, and then we'll have the companions take him on. Unfortunately, his army is so severely damaged that he has no chance, but nonetheless, worth a quick little fight. It is Bellicor after all. Go. Alright, here we go, the Bertrand and the Bellicor, and the beautiful lighting that will give us a probably a nice fight. We got our piles of Erimo now firing away at the enemy, our units up to 6. Of course, we still have the Brigand crossbows, but here they're protected by the Proletariat and the Bretonnia People's Front. Bellicor will, of course, attempt to move towards us immediately, but we'll have about half our army focus him and drop an old spell on him. Raillery giving us a 35% speed reduction, and I saw that he had Sundering Armor on him. I am not entirely sure what was that from. I think it was one of our heroes. You have Sundering Armor on your range attacks as well. Oh, that's quite lovely. In the meantime, the enemy Chaos, or Exalted Hero Zinch has decided to close the distance with these 3, thinking that perhaps he could take the Brigands on much easier in melee. That did not fly, as he was bonked apart by the enemy. Or by us, you know what I mean. Anyway, enemy units that were not on the right flank of their army, which was effectively destroyed by the Vanguard deployed range units, are now moving on in and smashing into the lines of our awaiting layers, with the Giant, in fact, choosing to move through the polearms, ignoring them completely, and moving towards the crossbows behind him. And sending many of them flying, but unfortunately for the Giant, way too many arrows come down upon it and pincushion it rather quickly. With the Giant's fall, I think only 1 unit remains unbroken on the battlefield, a demonic... Okay, it's dead. It was a Beast of Nurgle. By the time I had finished half of my description of what was left, it was gone. Poor Bellicor. He was in, he was in no shape to do anything in this particular army, as he got caught with his army at half HP. Still, nice work for Bertrand, the lovely defeat trait out of Bellicor, and on top of that, a lot of XP that we can hopefully use to upgrade some aspirant hoods. Alrighty, there we go. It wasn't technically an ambush battle, but at the end of the day, the enemy were dead before the reinforcements even made their way onto the battlefield. So it, well, let's just say they had a pretty bad time. Yeah, what would win? A demon prince or a bunch of illiterate peasants with crossbows? I think we all know the answer to that. Anyway, Potion of Farsight. Well, the range bonus, we could, in theory, use it on some of the ranged heroes, although, again, it's not a very good... they're still going to be terrible in range damage, but, well, buffing up the units is what they're for. Anyway, plus these guys at least fight in melee quite well. We will go for ransom captives here after we see how well we did. I believe it's the Bretonnia People's Front that took the brunt of the enemy charge, followed by the proletariat. These two were looping around the enemy and thusly didn't have time to participate all that much. Men in Tights got the most kills for the Arimone, 7.3k damage. And by the looks of most of the damage as well. And one of the Brigand crossbows almost kept up with the Arimone. Plus La Flèche Noire got 14.5k damage, which is not surprising and very solid. Anyway, we will ransom the captives. Like so. There's that Potion of Farsight, a free Scarecrow banner. We'll take it, a Scroll of Blast, enemy killed, Bellow the Ball. Yeah, this is what I wanted on the companions. Just for the weapon strength, really. It's not, like, the most critical, but it is such a nice defeat trait. Can't complain. And Bertrand, we could grab Conquata pretty easily with either one of you. Also, if you reinforce with an army, but the reinforcements don't actually make their way onto the battlefield, does the reinforcing army get any... Ooh, we'll need both armies to fight this. The Giants, the Dragon Ogres, the Chosen? Yes, we'll head over there together. What was I saying before I distracted myself? Oh, if a reinforcing army reinforces but never makes it its way onto the battlefield, does the reinforcing army get any XP at all? That's my question. And the answer is I don't know. That's just why I'm asking it. Anyway, how many more turns until the Green Knight's back? 9 turns. It'll be a bit. You go to Conquata, buddy. We hopefully can auto-resolve this. There's garbage there. It'll still probably hurt our giant piles of peasants, but not so much that we can't heal over the turn occupy. We're also not keeping any of these places. We're going to be giving it to, well, whoever lives up here. You can switch to, I think, Spread the Word. Huh? Oh, we're not suffering attrition anymore here, eh? Then instead go further and then go into channeling. If you go into March Stance, you can go here. These guys can't reach you anyway, so I think I'd rather you land at Bleakmore and just stay there for now. And then we'll see how we move later. There's no way that Alethanar can take Citadel of Lead because it's too powerful, and we'll leave the Drifting Castle, their capital, to the companions. Well, let's see who's next. Alright, that was Bertrand. We got Franciscus, who still needs to do some more troop swappage and a few other things. And, I felt like I was going to potentially give him some units recruited from one of our allies, but I don't... What would work nicely with him? He's got a bunch of the Foot Squires, so named Foot Squires, so he has Glorfiniel's Progeny and Worshippers of the Grail, so Foot Squires and Knights, or potentially Battle Pilgrims.
Of the lady.
Doesn't have buffs for the bows. I'll think about it. You guys can't travel through here in one turn anyway, so you're actually free to go into Spread the Word. Go right here, and then you can do the same.
It shall come to pass.
And then that'll give us an extra turn to figure out what we want to do with you two.
I have seen your
And potentially
heart.
build recruits. Matahari, I was going to send you down... I wish I remembered who I had sent where. Oh no. We had sent... It doesn't say, does it? Let me just see here. Huh. I know we had sent one of the other tech thieves through, but I don't see them on the list anymore. That's weird. Did they switch their position? Ah! You are at sea for 5 turns, but you weren't the one I was looking for. Did I miss? I swear I sent one of the other tech thieves through. Huh. Why is this important? Because I wanted to make sure that we send a tech thief to 2 locations, but alas, I don't remember. Alright, well, whatever. You know what? I'm going to keep you here, and I'm going to send you the exact same place we send Franciscus and Camille. Let's go with that. Alrighty, so you guys are good for now. Malene Dutremere, you are supposed to deal with this, which is kind of mad, to be perfectly honest. I'm going to leave this for now, though. Oh, I got Orion here to help out as well. I think better. More worthy of a fightin', a good fightin', and oh, look at that. The elves are moving to help the other elves. Go figure. And, ooh, oh. These guys are starting to get into contact with each other. Huh, I guess they managed to sort of wipe out some of the bloody hands down here. Good for them. Now the question is going to be, oh, we don't really need Stresslight anymore. You know what, I'm going to send him maybe away from these territories just so that we don't compete for territory with him. It's kind of the reason we got him in the first place. So, march stance, go and land, and then we'll take you back to Athalor, and then we'll give you back. Best use of allegiance. Anyway, I think we'll just auto-resolve this one because it's kind of meh. Unless, wait, is this a minor settlement? Oh, it is a minor settlement. Funnily enough, minor settlement gives us a huge advantage. Yeah, you know what, just by virtue of the fact that we have a huge advantage, I think we'll auto-resolve it. Because, you know, we have mostly range units here. We just sit outside of the settlement and kill them all with arrows. They have no chance whatsoever, and the AI is bad in these situations in the first place. Shield of Talos. Actually, let's see what we got. Do we get another channeling rod? Channeling staff? We got more forbidden rods, but these once again go to the... got a couple gamblers' armors. Ogre blade. I was looking for channeling staff, but I don't remember where it is. Got a couple... Got another Cuirass of Fortune. Though it's not as good as it once was. Alright, that dragon helm. Let's see if we can't combine that with something. Shield of Talos, maybe? I don't really care for it. I mean, at least in this particular... an Armor of Fortune. Yeah, that was definitely worth it. Talisman of Protection is fine. Scroll of Blast, Earthing Rod, and Wand of Jet. Like so. Hey, there's a channeling staff. Let's fuse the Talisman of Protection with the Dragonbane gem. Hopefully get something better like Talisman of Endurance. Nope, another Seed of Rebirth, but that's also not a bad thing. Sword of Swift Slaying. Sword of Swift Laying. That's the Slaneshi variant. You confuse with nothing. Therefore, yeah. Alright. Well, I'll just wait then. Shield, Cuirass of Fortune for my Villa Guardian. No. And Armor Fortune, Channeling Staff, Seed of Rebirth. Good attacker for Marlene Dutermin and Myrmidia's Coast secured. But not really for us. But, you know, we'll keep it for now. Most likely we'll just have to give it to Teclis, although putting him into a huge border with Karazkarak may not be a great idea. They may not be super friendly with each other. But again, we can't solve everybody's problems, okay? We have some problems of our own. What do we have here? Hero Recruit rank +2 faction wide. Pillar of Bone. That's not bad. That's not bad. I no longer care about the research rate, but Hero Recruit rank faction wide is nice. Is there rats at the Howlers camp, out of curiosity? Let's find out. To the Howlers camp. There is not, it is empty. Alright, well, I guess we'll just take Calcmere really quick. Also, has one of you reached rank 30, 25, and 28? Still no. Still no. Alright. You'll probably be able to reach the next place regardless. Oh, wow, just barely, huh? Maybe we'll use one of these then. You go right here past the location. We'll have one of you attack Calcmere, whichever is the lower level. You can stay behind, and then you can reinforce. In fact, go into March Stance to follow Luan as we move further towards Scabby Camp. Like so. And you are allied with whom? You're allied with the Iron Claw Orcs. Well, a poor choice of allies, considering they're basically dead. Declare war? Don't call allies. Actually, speaking of the Iron Claw Orcs, what territory did they still have? Pyrrhic Victor... Right, these are Savage Orcs, so we would struggle a little bit more against them. Man, we're actually gonna have to fight this. Okay, fine, fair enough. But we will fight it. If that's what you desire, game. Then I'm glad we didn't fight this, because we avoid one unnecessary battle, but have to fight another semi-necessary battle. I wanted to find whether the Iron Claw Orcs had another territory here, or is this the very last territory they have on the map? Okay, you're still okay. Good job, camp. Where are we here? You. Yes, this is your last settlement. And don't tell me the Empire, now that we've actually come here, are you actually going to attempt to take it now, finally? Now that we've come to do the work for you? Well, I guess we're about to find out. Keep on traveling, Mr. Theodric. Oh, actually, you know what? Switch to channeling stance. Max yourself out. Funnily enough, you don't have a mage, so it doesn't really matter. Though that army was obviously supposed to be changed in several ways. Anyway, you will proceed northward towards Sayathil so that we can still make use of the port. Like so. Before we trade it away, I mean. And would one of you please kill off Azubor so that we can trade this and fix your border gore? And hello, Dastan Koldai, you're still in range. Oh, and this is one of the best, this is one of the strongest rogue armies. Oh, yes, we're taking this. We're taking this right now, in fact. Anything we need to do? I don't know, I don't care. This is great fight always. I love Dastan Koldai. Declare war, yes. Abso-100%lutely. Now this is how our knights earn their, I don't know, get their glory and whatnot. And we got Manticores, we got everybody high ranks, we got those Blackguard of Nagaron, which were obviously, as we've seen many a time already, tough for the Grail Knights of, well, the Flying Grail Knights, Pegasus Knights, Royal Pegasus Knights, and Royal Hippogriff Knights. But anyway, look at frickin', again, still the best looking Duke by a huge margin, the white feathered Hippogriff, the classic black and red sort of color scheme he's got, plus the sort of gold or brass accents, kind of hard to tell from this distance. And actually, I like the blue lance here, it works nicely. Very nice, sir. Not quite as good as Amalric and his Pope Cat. His Candle Pope Cat, still my favorite Bretonnian as of this campaign, but very, very nice. There we go.
Make the Grail companions proud, for still they watch over you.
Alrighty, here we go. Once again, Agen de Gisoro, still, I ought to say, probably one of, if not the best looking lord. Maybe in the game. I mean, he just looks fantastic with that white hippogriff in this whole thing. I am so happy about his winning of Fashion Hammer. I am curious once again about what he looks like with his lance that he uses as a flag here, because he whacks away at people with his flail, but I don't remember if he does so when he's on the hippogriff. I assume he just sits there menacingly, which again wouldn't be too surprising. Anyway, here we go. We're gonna start the day off. This is our knightly army with that big giant lance formation that we like to use. Sort of a larger form of the formation that each individual model takes, and then we crash into the enemy line. Like so, again, simply hovering overhead, watching the absolute chaos that the enemy army has been subjected to. The enemy does hit us with a Doombolt, knocking out a couple of the knights of some kind. But I suppose it doesn't matter over much, while Hagen finds himself a foe at long last, a Manticore, which immediately decides to spin around and then back the heck out of there. Unsurprisingly, perhaps. And I just wanted to see whether... Yeah, I think we would only get to see the Hippogriff attacking, so no more flail action, unfortunately. Unless I'm mistaken. But who knows? Hey, he's waving around the flail, at least. Or is he just flailing? Anyway. There we go. Looks like the Manticores are just about surrounded at this point. It's not getting out of this one. And the enemy army is in extremely bad shape. The few units that tried to move towards their mounted yeoman archers have been destroyed, and they're providing a nice little bit of support, firing on single entities, like the Charybdis here, while the knights take care of most of the infantry, and avoid the Blackguard of Nagaron, as we've seen those guys even damage Royal Hippogriff Knights and Royal Pegasus Knights at once, essentially. But it's alright, pretty much everything is dead, and it's about time that we close with the units of Blackguard of Nagaron. They had to be destroyed at some time. And with the Charybdis, which is also keeping in mind anti-large, knocking out knights, we just want to focus it down with the range units, while the rest of the units take care of everybody else. Plus we've got the two here, Lost Sons, pinning the Charybdis and now the Manticore. Charybdis will rout, the Manticore will rout, Agen will close the distance with the second Manticore real quick. And there we go, and just like that, the Blackguard of Nagaron, being the very last unit on the battle map, shatters, and the battle is ours. There was no need to spend knights on them because they broke once the entirety of the rest of their army was destroyed. Lovely. Though perhaps the chivalrous thing to do would have been to crash into them immediately and defeat them instead of waiting for them to break, but, well, what can you do? Anyway, another nice fight for Agen and his piles of knights. Alrighty, there we go. A very nice fight, seeing Destin, Coldeye, and his high tier or high veterancy at the very least, troops cast down, and more importantly, seeing Agen in action and his glorious sort of panoply of war. We have got. Let's see, a little bit of damage, but overall, that actually went significantly better than I thought it would, considering we were mostly Knights of the Realm here. The blob of Knights certainly worked out well, though some of them like I said, I wanted to make into flying Knights, just by virtue of wanting potentially some air superiority, A, and B, to make sure that not everybody's getting in everybody's way. Though against the pile of infantry, it doesn't matter nearly as much. Anyway, we'll ransom the captives like so. And then we'll chase you down. I don't think you're escaping this one, buddy. And another smuggler. And another smuggler. For a high chivalry realm, we certainly have a lot of smugglers. Odo, Gegnier, Pegasus. I might keep them on Pegasi. Keep well, obviously the Sons of Bretonnia are gonna be on horseback, so maybe we keep them down on the ground below, and then these guys could lead a couple of units of Pegasus Knights. Might be a decent option. And see, note that Agen de Shisoho does not, in fact, have immunity to contact effects like all of the Grail Knights do. Auto-resolve. Like so, and we'll go for execute captives this time, just for a little bit of extra movement range. And hey, another smuggler, and another obsidian trinket, and Tyrants of the Black Ocean destroyed. Now we can't cross and Navy's in hostile waters. We're on the coast of Kuhan. Oh, but it's not hostile waters; it's neutral waters. This is so weird. We were healing over there. We would heal in the Great Ocean, but unfortunately, we'd start suffering attrition immediately. Is there anywhere in the Great Ocean that's close enough? Doesn't look like it. Man, I'd really like to heal, though. But if we can't, we can't, and therefore, we're just gonna cross. And do it now. If there's no sense in waiting, well, then there's no sense in waiting. And, oh, right, one of the... This is World Walker territory. Okay, good. Also, how much did you level off of that? 2 levels? I like it. I like it a lot. We will get immediately chivalric... Protectors of the Realm for the basic knights, and then to stand your ground.
As I expected.
And then some of these guys will be upgraded to some degree. I'm mostly, I think, going to use Knights of the Realm in this army. And just throw in a few Pegasus Knights, keep a few Knights errant. I mean, granted, this is... because we have a Knights of the Realm leading the army and the Knights of the Lionhearted, it feels like the way to go, but I'll think about it. Anyway, you want to max out replenish troops. It may not be useful here, but it will eventually come in very handy. You can grab... You already have the 2 points, so you can grab Son of Bretonnia and Pure Heart, which gives you the damage resistance and the vigor per second reduction. Though it does not matter much since you have perfect vigor, but... these guys are a lot more fragile by having very low melee defense and just being a lot less tanky than the paladins are. So we gotta be a little bit more careful with them. Anyway, who do we have next? Alicia, you... Oh, right. All of this. This was actually supposed to be part of several different armies. Alright, there's some... Actually, there's a fair bit of unit swappage that must be done here. I feel, however, you know what, I will probably do that unit swappage between the episodes, because it's going to take too long to do so right now. You can get the Grove Guardians, I say as I start doing the unit swappage. You guys, since once again we haven't gotten a chance to use a lot of them, go for Aspirant Hoods, like so. Aspirant Hoods, plus Grove Guardians, plus we need face, oh, we need a lot of Faceless. Oh, we got another Monster Hunter. And, oh, we need another turn. I built several of the things, but I guess they need to still be upgraded. Why is it so difficult to get spies? Alright, fine, fair enough. Fair enough. Anyway, I think then this is probably going to be a decent place to call the episode. I'll do the unit swappage between the turns. So unless there's anything else interesting right now. Oh, right, we're gonna have to fight this. Oh, I'm going to forget. Absolutely going to forget, aren't I? Oh well. Anyway, I will start off the next episode by doing that, or forget it and then do it after, which is, I don't know, 80% likely, knowing me, so we shall see. Anyway, calling it here. Stay tuned for more as we prosecute more wars everywhere we go, and keep pushing our forces out this way. I noticed that these guys took Monte Castello and were advancing towards these places, but as soon as we declared war on them, they just stopped. Not only did they stop advancing here, but they backed all their armies up, despite the fact that there are enemy or hostile armies here, which, I mean, on the one hand is par for the course, but on the other hand, you maybe shouldn't just leave, you know? Just keep a defensive force around. If you take Susuria Wood, I'm gonna be so salty. Anyway, we'll just have to wait and see next time. So stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, which I think I already said, but they'll still determine how long this campaign continues to run for. All glory to the algorithm.
Blessings of
And
the
thanks for
Lady
watching.
be upon you.